guys, Heather at home here with a cooking video for you today. Fall has arrived and it is now football season, so it is time for chili, which is one of my husband's favorite things to eat. So I thought I would share with you today my chili recipe, which I've been making for a long time, and it's tried and true, and it's spicy and it's thick and it has no beans. So if you don't like that kind of chili, you can probably stop watching now. But you should try it anyway because it's so much better without beans. So we will need water, and I will give you the exact measurements and also put the directions in the comments. Ground beef, sausage, tomato paste, diced tomatoes with green chilies. This is like the knockoff Kroger version of rotel. Tomato sauce, salt, black pepper, chili powder, and that's the powder that has like cumin and everything already in it all in one. Cayenne pepper, garlic powder. I have like 2 small onions and then 3 cloves of garlic. So those are going to be our ingredients. Okay, so our first step is going to be to chop up the onion and garlic, and I wanted to show you guys how I chop onion. I chop off not this end, but the top end of the onion, and peel it, and then I slice it in. I set it up like this and slice it in half, and then I slice, I don't know, quite a few slices. I don't know if you can see them in the onion there, going across, but not quite all the way through, so that it still all holds together. And then I just take my knife and just make little slices across this way. So it's a really quick, easy way to dice up an onion. So I'm going to finish chopping up my onions. Not all of these are going to go in the pot to cook. Some of them are going to be saved on the side for topping after. Okay, so I have all my onions cut now, and I separated some of them off to the side to keep for later for putting on top of the chili. So this is probably equivalent to a medium to large onion, probably 1.5 cups total chopped, and then 3 cloves of garlic chopped. Okay, so now we're going to take 1 pound of ground sausage. The sausage is from Aldi. I've not used their sausage before, but I've heard good things about it. This is just a plain pork sausage. It's a little paler than the sausage that I'm used to seeing, but their packaging did say no artificial colors or flavors, so maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe other sausage has coloring added to it. And 1 pound of ground beef. We buy our ground beef from Costco. It's the Cornbread, comes in the freezer section. I think it's 5 1-pound chubs in a bag. And it's just really easy to keep on hand for making chili or anything else that you need ground beef for. Other than burgers, we usually buy fresh meat for burgers. So add that to a large pot, and I have this cooking over medium-high heat just to get all this meat starting to brown. And this tool that I'm using here is actually one of my absolute favorite tools. This is from Pampered Chef, and I don't know the exact name of it, but I will look it up and put it in the video description. But it works. Hard to do this one-handed. My pot just wants to spin because I have a flat top burner. But it really breaks up the meat into like a fine mince, so you don't have large chunks of meat. Like I said, my pan is sliding all over the place here, so I can't really give you a good demonstration, but basically you want to use this type of motion while holding onto the pot with your other hand, and it really breaks up the meat, combines it together nicely, and makes a really small mince so you don't have big hunks of meat in your chili or whatever else you're making that would call for a ground meat. This works with ground turkey, ground whatever. So that is what we're doing for now. I'm going to get a little bit of browning going on this, and then I will add in the onions and garlic to cook with the meat. Okay, so the meat is not quite done yet, and I forgot to mention, I don't add any oil or anything to the pan to cook the meat in. The meat is fattening enough that it makes its own juices, way too much juices, so I don't add any additional oil. But at this point, when there's just a little bit of pink remaining, I'm going to dump in my onions and garlic and get those cooking in there as well. Okay, so here are all our seasonings that are going to go in the chili. At the very bottom is 4 tablespoons of the chili powder, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, half a tablespoon of cayenne pepper, 2 to 3 teaspoons, I'm sorry, this is a teaspoon, this is half of a teaspoon, 2 to 3 teaspoons of salt, and 1.5 teaspoons of black pepper. The only tablespoon measurement is 4 tablespoons of chili powder. I'm not sure if that's what I said or not. So we're going to take these spices over to our meat, which is grating the meat, garlic, and onions. And I like to add all my seasonings at this point to really get them incorporated with the meat and kind of toast those flavors before I add the liquid to it. So I'm going to get this all combined in here. You can hear my daughter in the background. Jiffy is not happy. She apparently does not want to take a nap. Alright. I will come back and show you what this looks like once I get this all combined. Okay, so here is the meat fully coated with the spices. I'll just let that cook for a minute or two. I'm on medium heat now. Let that cook for a minute or two just to intensify those flavors and kind of cook those flavors into the meat before I add my liquids. Okay, so to the mixture we're going to add an 6-ounce can of tomato paste, which I've already added because I needed both hands to scrape it out. Can of the tomatoes and green chilies, liquid and all. A small 8-ounce size can of tomato sauce. And water. I have 2.5 cups of water here. Now you can use beer for 1.5 cups of that, like a 12-ounce bottle of beer. I'm not a big fan of beer. I can still taste it after it's cooked for several hours. I don't really want to be eating it with beer in it, so I just use water. Sometimes I'll use chicken stock or beef stock if I have it on hand, or I might sprinkle in a little chicken bouillon just so it's not so much water and gives a little bit more flavor. But realistically this has so much flavor that it doesn't really matter. So what we're going to do at this point is just bring it to a boil and then reduce it to a simmer, and I let it simmer for several hours. So B2B, RTS, I watch way too many Food Network shows, and that's what their little abbreviation for bring to boil, reduce to simmer is. So that's what we're going to do now. Going to bring it to a boil, reduce it to a simmer for about 3 hours. It's 2 o'clock now. We'll probably eat around 5. So I will show you the completed recipe when it's time to eat, and I'll also show you the really quick cornbread that we eat with this. It's a doctored up Jiffy cornbread mix that I absolutely love, so stay tuned for that. I should also mention that after I reduce to a simmer, I do lid the chili for the first hour or so, just so that all the moisture doesn't evaporate off and become too thick. And then I'll take the lid off for the last portion of it to let it thicken up a little bit more than the lid being on it will allow. And I do stir occasionally, just whenever I think about it. No rhyme or reason to it. Okay, so for orange cornbread muffins, super simple. I love Jiffy cornbread muffin mix, cornbread mix. And the directions call for 1/3 cup of milk, and all I do is substitute the milk for 1/3 cup of orange juice. And it just gives this most subtle orange flavor to the cornbread, and it's absolutely amazing. And then my other tip is, after you spoon it into your muffin tin, or if you're making it in just like an 8x8 or however you're making it, let it sit and let it like raise. If you let it sit for, not raise in the traditional sense, but if you let it sit for maybe 3 or 4 minutes, you'll notice that like it starts to puff up and get like almost like a whipped texture to it, and it just really helps the rise on your muffins and they just get a lot bigger and puffier if you let them sit like that. So I will show you, I'll show you them when they're ready to go in the oven. Okay, I'm about to put these into the oven at 400 degrees, and hopefully you can tell that they have risen somewhat. And then I will show you the completed muffins at the very end. Okay, I also decided to make a sweet treat, and I'm going to just whip up some really quick peanut butter chocolate chip bars. So all you will need is 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of brown sugar, 1/3 cup peanut butter, 1 tablespoon of vanilla, 1 large egg, 1 stick of butter melted, and 1 cup of chocolate chips plus 2 tablespoons to top with. And then you'll just want to line an 8x8 with foil and then spray it with nonstick spray. So in my mixing bowl, I'm going to start with my 1 egg, and I like to do my egg first, so if there's anything wrong with it, it's gone bad, or I get a bunch of shells in it, it's in the bowl by itself. I'm not ruining the entire recipe. So I'm going to get this mixed up. Into it, I'm going to add the 1/3 cup of peanut butter, and then I'm going to drizzle in the melted butter and get that all combined. Okay, into that next is 1 cup of brown sugar and the tablespoon of vanilla, and get that blended in. Okay, and then to this mixture you're going to add your 1 cup of flour, and then it's important at this stage not to overmix, just get it till it's just combined. And then we will fold in the 1 cup of chocolate chips and spread it in our pan. Okay, so I sprinkled the extra 2 tablespoons on the top after I spread it into my 8x8, and then it'll bake for 25 to 30 minutes at 350 until a toothpick comes out clean. Okay, then the finished product. Corn muffins, burnt a little. I lost track of them in the oven, but I just top it with I top the chili with the extra onion and shredded cheese. Okay, and here is the finished peanut butter chocolate chip cookie bar. Please like and subscribe if you like these types of videos, and I will see you all next time. Thanks, have a great day.